when I looked it up. Whoops. $85.99 for a fucking video game that is over 20 years old. Okay? Only 7 left in stock too, which is crazy. But the game isn't on the cartridge, it's through the internet. And if I want to play the game, even though it's downloaded digitally, because the game isn't actually on the key card, I have to still have the cartridge in the console. Even though this sounds like a scam. This like dead ass sounds like a fucking scam. So you're charging me $90 to buy a box. I don't need the box. I want the game. This is scammy. This feels very scammy, actually. I was about to say. Relax a little bit, dog. Come on. We're shitting on Nintendo right now. We don't gotta shit on Call of Duty right now. No, I'm just playing. What's up, you? Oh, let me fix that. Sorry. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Lil Mackie Rob, aka Meato. You already know. And how we doing today? I hope we doing good. I'm doing pretty decent. And we back, man. We back, and we reacted to another video, man. Looks like Legendary Dropsters made a video talking about Nintendo actually did it. They actually did it. I don't know what they did. I don't know what they did. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what's going on. I think I have an idea of what it is, because of the only thing I've heard right now. There's only 2 things I've heard right now. Is one, that the Switch 2 is allegedly going to cost like $400 and some change, like $450 or something like that. Which is, I mean, hot take. I don't think that's that bad of a console price. Well, I have to remember I'm talking about a Switch, which honestly, for comparing a Switch to the other consoles on the market like PS5 or Xbox, it does definitely fall on the inferior side of things for sure. So like $450, and then with everything that's going on right now in the world, yeah, I mean, it's expensive, but I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I don't know. I mean, I still got my Switch. It takes me a while before I really buy a new console. So, but yeah, $450. I mean, that's definitely a lot. So I've heard that, and then I've heard that allegedly that the new Mario Kart. Well, one, it's an open world thing, which is okay, cool. But then 2. It's also $80 digitally and $90 physical, which is fucking crazy. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm assuming that's probably what Legendary Drop's gonna talk about. I do really like his channel. I do like his breakdowns of things in gaming because I don't know, he just knows. He's way deeper into the gaming community than I am for sure. And I try to like look shit up, but sometimes he just like finds shit that I'm not able to find. But like so I'm assuming that either way, I'm assuming that's what he's gonna talk about. Is probably something to do with Nintendo charging $90 for a goddamn physical copy, which is fucking ridiculous, bro. If anything, I thought it was gonna be Grand Theft Auto 6 that did something like that, and like I was actually more okay with Grand Theft Auto 6 pricing their game like that, because I'm super excited for GTA 6, even though I am a little weary of it right now because I'm a little nervous for how long it's taking. I'm really scared it's not going to meet the expectations that it's now found itself getting because of how long it's taking. Like, I swear to God, bro, Rockstar and Take-Two is low-key pulling like a Playboy Cardi type shit, you know what I'm saying? They like tease, like the same way how like for like a few years Playboy Cardi teased his I Am Music album. He was like, oh, I'm dropping it. No, I'm not. I'm dropping it. No, I'm not. And like niggas was like, bro, come on. They're like doing the same thing, bro. They're just like, it's coming. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're gonna take a little longer. It's coming. And I feel like when you do things like that, you build so much expectation for it to be like a masterpiece, and I'm really scared it's not gonna meet those expectations. But that's besides the point. Yeah. So I'm surprised to hear Nintendo is going to possibly charge $80 for a game minimum, as a standard price. Because honestly, bro, in this kind of world, bro, that's gonna be a hard sell for a lot of people. So yeah, we got Legendary drops here with the video talking about it. So let's just get right to it, man. Let's see what's going on.
At one, everybody thought it was going to be Take-Two and Rockstar with Grand Theft Auto 6 increasing prices up to $100. Hell, we had people that were praying for it. And don't worry, I'm sure we still have a good chance of that happening as well. Because, I mean, $70 to $100, that's a pretty big jump. But $80 to $100, I mean, that's not too bad, right? It was Nintendo, the one that nobody was talking about. During their announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2, showing off some things that people could genuinely get excited about, well, there was something that wasn't on the showcase, and that was price. And the minute that you went to their website, that was when they slid in the dagger of a $449 console and the overhead finisher of $80 digital video games. Nobody saw this coming. I didn't see this coming.
All right, listen to me. Hot take. Okay, as much as I said I thought it would be GTA 6, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I actually should have probably seen this coming. The reason why I say that is because I think maybe like a year or two ago, or no, definitely more than that, but like a few years ago, I was very much on the hunt for a GameCube. I don't know why. I really liked GameCube. That was like, for me when I was a kid, that was my thing. I like loved that console. I had the Super Smash Bros. Melee. I played what else? I had the Need for Speed games on there. As much as I loved the console, I didn't get to keep it for a very long time because my parents were not doing very well money wise. So one day I went to school and my GameCube was there, and the next day I come home, and well, not the next day, but I come home from school the same day, and the next thing I know, my GameCube is gone, and my mom is sitting me down telling me that they had to pawn my GameCube to get money. So to heal some of that trauma of getting my GameCube basically fucking stolen from me, I was on the hunt for a GameCube a few years ago, and so I had found one. I went to this game shop that's like 30 minutes from my house, and they had a GameCube for about $50. So I bought it, and I was super excited. I didn't have any game. I bought the GameCube itself, the console. I bought obviously the wires and then one controller to go with it. And then it's cool. It's still over here. It's in my box. It's a black GameCube. And the first game I went to go look up for the GameCube was Super Smash Bros. Melee. I don't know if a lot of you have looked up the cost of how much, or the price for how much. Jeez, I can't speak. The price for Super Smash Bros. Melee is, but that game, mind you, I think Melee is like probably about 20 years old now. I'm pretty sure. How old is Super Smash? I guess I could just look up Super Smash Bros. Melee. Let me see. 2001. Yeah, so that game came out in 2001. All right. Now, you go to Amazon here, because I'll just click this right here. This game is $90 when I looked it up. Whoops. $85.99 for a fucking video game that is over 20 years old. Okay? Only 7 left in stock too, which is crazy. And it's a brand Nintendo platform GameCube. Like, this is a full-on, like, I'm pretty sure like you buy this from Nintendo or something. I don't know, but it's on Amazon listed for $90 fucking dollars, and my jaw was dropped. I really wanted to buy it, but even back then, when I bought the GameCube, I was like, I just can't justify paying a game that was made in 2001. That there's probably hella people that have definitely like pirated the game, and they have their own versions of it, and like, you know, have done things like that with it, that I could probably find it if I look hard enough, for free or maybe for a cheaper price. But I just can't justify buying the physical game for $85 fucking dollars. And actually, I will say it has dropped down in price about $5, because the last time I looked it up, it was actually $90.99. So it's dropped down for a little. It's dropped down a little bit, but dude, this game was made in 2001. Come on, like. Jesus, bro. I know Nintendo can be greedy, especially the way they do like their whole subscription services and things, where it's like, hey, you want to play the Nintendo 64 games? Give us $60, bitch. You know? And like, I understand they're a greedy company, but like, where does it stop? You know? Because it's like, this is ridiculous. There's so many games. There's so many people that can pirate these Nintendo games, I feel like, for free. And it like I don't know, bro. And like they know this, and that's why they do the whole like the Nintendo Switch Online, and you know that's why they do the emulators and things where you can play the 64 games, you can play the NES games, you can play those games. Like they give you an emulator to play those games, but it's so expensive on top of you already paying for Nintendo Switch Online. It's just like, bro, how much more money do you want me to give you, Nintendo? Fuck, let me have Melee. Let me have Melee. Just let me have Melee, motherfucker. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm not surprised. I mean, I am surprised, but I shouldn't be surprised seeing as this game is 20 plus years old and still at $90. So, it's crazy.
I mean, we know that all these CEOs have been talking about increasing prices for like the last 5 years. Every single one of them has talked about it, but I never saw it coming from Nintendo, and people are pissed. Rightfully so. There are also people that are defending it. Don't worry, I have some things to say just to you. But the more that I think about it, the more it makes sense why it would be Nintendo and not anybody else. And it's for reasons that I don't think anybody's taking the time to actually consider. Lord knows it's not games media. They expose themselves yet again with this one. Who would have guessed? But there are some unique circumstances that Nintendo is in or has been in for the last few years that would lead them down this route. And spoiler alert, it's not tariffs. I don't think this is going to end well. Economically, socially, we are in the lowest point of trust this industry has ever seen. And if Nintendo goes down this route, as well as any of these other publishers or studios, it's only going to end poorly. Simple as that. They are playing with fire in the middle of dry season, and they're risking everything going up in flames. But before that, your walls are looking pretty bare, and you could use today's sponsor, Displate. I probably shouldn't be touching this. Now let me put you guys onto something that Displate fans really shouldn't miss out on, and that's the Displate Club. It's a membership that seriously allows you to level up your collection game. You get free shipping, early access to limited and ultra-limited drops, and even the ability to customize and create your own displays. Plus, every 12 months, you get a voucher equal to your joining order's value, meaning that your membership basically just pays for itself. And whether you're into gaming, music, movie, TV, art, whatever it might be, something totally niche, Displate has you covered with over 2 million designs to choose from. They're printed on high-quality metal, and every display uses a magnet mounting system, so there's no tools, no wall damage, and you can swap them out at any time. I've used it.
I say whoever did make this plate is a fucking genius, because who would have thought, like, yo, people like paintings. What if we just put the paintings on metal? Fucking genius. You got me hooked. I need to get me one of these for sure, especially for Elden Ring.
Played for years now, and it's hands down the easiest way to make any space feel like your own. Now, I noticed that some people have been jealous of my Magic the Gathering mana symbol set from their texture line, and just for you guys, the texture line is on discount right now. If you're thinking about building out your collection or just wanting to pick up a cool poster, now is the time. Go to display.com and use my code Legendary at checkout to get the best deal, or use the link in the description below. Make your walls look legendary. Nintendo just dropped one of the biggest announcements that we've seen in years from either a publisher or a console maker. Their presentation was packed full of long-awaited titles and unexpected reveals, a brand new Donkey Kong game for the first time in over a decade, an open-world Mario Kart game called World Tour, and for reasons—
Oh, dude, Donkey Kong, bro. Donkey Kong Country, bro. I actually didn't even look to see what games that Nintendo's coming out with, but I could already tell they're definitely hitters, bro. Definitely hitters, bro. I love Donkey Kong Country, especially Donkey Kong Country 2 or Donkey Kong Country Returns 2. I think that's what it was called. Whichever one was on the Wii, the original Wii back in the day. That was my shit, bro. That was my fucking shit. Me and my cousin would play that shit all the time. I loved that game.
Reasons that defy logic. They casually just dropped Hollow Knight Silksong, a game that's joked about as the Half-Life 3 of the indie world as a side clip instead of a full trailer, but then came the biggest curveball at all, a standalone console-exclusive From Software game called Duskbloods. It's clear that Nintendo wants the Switch 2 to dominate right out of the gate, and with this lineup, plus the massive improvements to the original hardware, it's hard to imagine that it won't. I mean, according to NVIDIA, the Switch 2 boasts 10 times the graphical power of the original. Nintendo claims that it can run games at 1080p, 120 frames per second, and it can dock at 4K. They've upgraded their controllers, they've added camera functionality, and finally, built-in voice chat. Am I the only one that found it hilarious that Nintendo, out of all companies, the king of copyright, patents, and lawsuits, basically just ripped off Discord's UI for their voice chat? Also, why are they talking about voice controls and voice chat like they just invented it? This isn't too—
Yo, holy shit, they dead ass 100%. This looks exactly like Discord. That's hilarious. Hey, bro, fuck it. Hey, bro, don't fix what's not broken, dog. It's just don't fix what's not broken. It is what it is. I mean, I feel like it's kind of hard to not you don't need to revolutionize voice chats, but I feel like it's kind of hard to not make your voice chats kind of at some point they're all going to be kind of similar is my point, I guess. Well, I mean, that's actually not necessarily true, because PlayStation and Xbox are drastically different with how their voice chats system works, but I mean, I don't know, but it is funny. This is kind of funny. Are they streaming this? Is this how it looks when you're doing the voice chat? Does your screen have to get small? It's kind of dumb.
2003. Every other console figured this out 2 decades ago. Still, the announcement hit hard. Fans were hyped. The Switch 2 launches in June, and on paper, it looked like a slam dunk. But during this hour-long showcase, something was off. Something was missing. Pricing. And the minute that people went to go and check Nintendo's website, the real announcement hit. $449 for the Switch 2, $80 for digital games, and $90 for physical. Now, I will add that there is some confusion on the physical games prices being higher. I can't fully confirm that, but it seems like retailers are just guessing at this point, so we're going to have to wait and see. But let that sink in, marinate in it for a second. Lord knows that I have, and I'm not happy. And looking at a lot of the discourse that I've seen online, not a lot of people are happy either. Nintendo didn't just raise prices, they broke the ceiling. And oh, by the way, those physical games that they're going to be selling, not all of them are actually physical. With select titles, you're still going to need to download the game, meaning that you're just buying Nintendo's new DRM system called keycards. Congratulations, you're paying $90 for essentially anti-piracy. Oh, Nick, it's
Wait, what? Wait, what? What's the point of even having a physical copy if I still have to download it later on? Wait, what? That's kind of stupid. What? Doesn't make any sense. So because that would, I think that would mean that, like, without the access to the internet, you can't play your physical game even though you have it right in front of you. That's fucking stupid. Oh my god, bro, this is fucking stupid.
They broke the ceiling. And oh, by the way, those physical games that they're going to be selling, not all of them are actually physical.
Wait. A new type of cartridge has been revealed, game key cards. These cartridges do not have any data on them, and you will need to download the game from the internet like a digital version. In addition, the cartridge must be inserted to play. So, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I know people complain about me leaning and changes my voice. I'm gonna try to stay. But anyways, wait. This does not sound scammy as fuck. Like, this is weird. So so if I want to buy the physical copy, I buy it. I don't get an actual cartridge. I get a game key card, which doesn't have the actual game on it. It doesn't have the actual game on it, so I need to connect to the internet, download it using, I'm assuming, the key that's in the cartridge, but the game isn't on the cartridge, it's through the internet. And if I want to play the game, even though it's downloaded digitally, because the game isn't actually on the key card, I have to still have the cartridge in the console, even though this sounds like a scam. This, like, dead ass sounds like a fucking scam. Then what's the point? At this point, just don't sell physical copies. Like, it's dead ass just like a waste of plastic at this point, and a waste of chips. Because if like the whole idea of owning the physical copy of a video game, right, is the fact that in case maybe you don't have access to the internet for whatever reason, you are still able to play the game because you actually own your copy of the game, right? But so doing something like this where you don't even have the data for the video game inside the key card, it sounds like it's just a key to download the digital version. It defeats the whole purpose of even buying this shit. You're charging me $90 to buy a box. I don't need the box. I want the game. This is scammy. This feels very scammy, actually. That's the most ass backwards thing I've ever seen in my life. What the fuck?
Select titles, you're still going to need to download the game, meaning that you're just buying Nintendo's new DRM system called keycards. Congratulations.
Yeah, and now I'm thinking about it too. This also means that, like, you would still need to be connected to the internet to play this, because you just have a digital copy essentially. So yeah, like I said, it's literally just a useless piece of plastic. What the fuck? All right, anyways.
Paying $90 for essentially anti-piracy. Oh, and it gets worse, of course, because while players were excited to revisit some of their old Switch games on better hardware, the fine print made it very clear only select Nintendo titles will be enhanced, meaning that you're going to have to pay for an upgrade fee, just so those snakes can unlock an already existing feature within these games setting. Don't have the game? Want to play Zelda Breath of the Wild on your shiny new console? Well, that's going to be $70 for an 8-year-old...
Wait, hold on. I think I missed that. I think I zoned out. I'm still very... like, that blindsided me. The fucking ass backwards logic of owning a fucking a game cartridge that doesn't even have the game on it. I didn't hear. Hold on. What did you say?
Because while players were excited to revisit some of their old Switch games on better hardware, the fine print made it very clear only select Nintendo titles will be enhanced, meaning that you're going to have to pay for an upgrade fee, just so those snakes can unlock an already existing feature within these games setting. Don't have the game? Want to play Zelda Breath of the Wild on your shiny new console? Well, that's going to be $70 for an 8-year-old Wii U game, which tells me that Nintendo's going the full PlayStation route here. No free upgrades, no patches, just repackage and resell. DLC or remastered, pick your poison. Either way, you're paying again or you're paying more. And by the way,
so there's no like backwards compatibility type shit. If I want to, I get it. If I want to play, like you said, Breath of the Wild, I have to just buy the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild all over again. Yo, come on, bro. Like, there has to be, bro, we need some laws. And I'm like, it's funny because we need laws, bro. We need some laws, bro. This sounds very scammy and double dippy. You know what I'm saying? This is fucked. Like, I was okay with Nintendo being greedy for a little bit because you know what? Because I was like, oh, but Mario, you know. But this is just beyond greed at this point. You're full on scamming your customers for every dollar they have left. This is crazy. No, this is actually insane. And like, for what? I'm gonna buy Breath of the Wild to not even have the actual, at least with the Wii U version. If I still have my Wii U, I have the physical copy of Breath of the Wild. At least I actually have the game. If I buy the Breath of the Wild version as the Nintendo Switch 2 version, I just have a fucking cartridge that gives me a key that allows me to download it, the digital version, for free. There's no, it's so stupid. What the fuck? There's no way this is a thing. It's not even a remaster. It's literally just repackaged. This is fucking crazy.
If you weren't feeling bad already, those same price increases that we saw for their games are also on the Switch accessories. Hope you guys are excited to pay over $100 for a dock and charger.
$100 for a different colored dock and charger. Fuck, dude. Wow, almost $15 for fucking nylon straps, dog. Oh my god.
Dear God. The more you dig in, the uglier it gets. Nintendo is selling a glorified tech demo called the Switch 2 Tour, which is a standalone paid game. Who charges people to learn about the console that they purchased? And their biggest addition, by the way, that shiny new voice chat feature is now going to be...
What? Wait. That's gonna be the fucking sound for this whole video is wait, because I am gonna have to stop a lot. I'm sorry. Did you say a tech demo? Wait. Oh, no, they're not. How much are they charging you? Switch 2 tech demo is a paid digital only game that serves as a tech demo, showcasing the new features of the Switch 2 for $10? Dog. There's no way you're charging for a fucking demo. What the fuck? Oh no, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Oh man. If I knew this was gonna happen, bro, I would have, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. I thought I was gonna come in here and low-key defend Nintendo because, again, I was gonna be like Mario, but no, this is fucking stupid. There's no defending this shit. This is just straight up greed.
Just a standalone paid game. Who charges people to learn about the console that they purchased?
No,
and their biggest addition, by the way, that shiny new voice chat feature is now going to be included on all of their controllers, and it's going to be locked behind Nintendo Online. You are literally going to have a paid-for button on your controller, which I'm going to take a wild guess and say if you accidentally hit it while you're playing a game, it's probably going to pause the game and redirect you to a subscription paywall. Look, I like Nintendo games, but let's not pretend like they belong in the price hike conversation. They have outperformed their competitors while making cheaper games. Most of their titles are nostalgia-fueled reskins. Pokemon, their biggest franchise, looks and runs worse than most mobile games do, and while they're flexing about 120 FPS on a handheld, forgive me for being skeptical. We've heard that before. Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 have claimed 60 FPS, but they can barely hit 30. Hell, they've already showed off Cyberpunk 2077 and how it's only going to run at 40 FPS. They are constantly a step behind.
Whoa, okay. Well, this is why. Look, I like the Switch. I like the fact that it's a handheld and I can like play it anywhere, you know, at any time. But come on, like I agree. It can barely run its own shit. Like I was playing Pokemon fucking what was it? Pokemon Violet. Dog, that game feels like it can max run at like only 20-30 FPS. That's it. Like it's like the frame rate is so ass on it, bro. And bro, like it's the shit can barely run its own games that are made for it. You expect me to think You can run fucking Cyberpunk on it? Bro, no. I don't know. I feel like Nintendo, I feel like y'all gotta stick with just the classic Nintendo shit instead of trying to grab all the other games that are out there too. Because if you want to play Cyberpunk and you're looking for a console, fuck the Switch, bro. Get yourself like a PS5 or an Xbox, or get yourself like a computer. Don't get a Switch to try to play AAA titles. It's not gonna work. The fucking Switch itself can barely run fucking Splatoon, dog. Like, come on, man.
Behind. Nintendo has suffered the least, profited the most, and now they're asking for more. Nah, not like this. So why now? Why would Nintendo, out of all companies, want to make this move? Well, if you ask Games Media, it's definitely not about greed or timing, it's politics. Within hours of the presentation, half of the headlines were running, talking about the newly announced U.S. tariffs. Trump tariffs raise the prices, they cried, as if a single announcement explains a half a decade-long conversation about price hikes. Never mind the fact that Capcom CEO last year was talking about how games were underpriced. EA CEO has floated the idea. Take-Two Strauss Zelnick has definitely been pushing for $100 games for years. Just a couple months ago, on this very channel, I covered multiple articles gushing over the hope that Grand Theft Auto 6 would push game prices to $100. But no, let's forget all that. It's the tariffs, totally nothing to do with the ongoing conversation about the last 2 brutal years of failed live service projects, third and first party flops, and bloated development costs. Let's not mention that maybe, just maybe, these companies are scrambling to stay afloat and want to offload some of their costs onto the customer. I swear that half of these writers wanted to cover politics, but they settled for video games. For 2 straight days, Games Media ran with the headlines blaming tariffs for the price increase on both the Switch 2 hardware and its games. The only problem is none of that made any sense. You can't tariff digital goods, for one, and the actual tariff numbers weren't released or revealed until the day before the Nintendo Direct, and yet every major outlet insisted that the price hike was tariff driven, only for Nintendo to later then go out and release a statement delaying pre-orders because of the tariffs. That means the original price of $449 was set before any tariff impact.
Yeah,
so what actually happened? Well, the media lied for 48
it.
hours and then got lucky when reality bailed them out. Yes, of course, tariffs are going to have some effect, but they're not the original cause, nor do they explain the price hike of $299 for the original Switch to $449 for the Switch 2. The more obvious explanation, Nintendo just wants to make more money. The Switch 2 was already one of the most profitable pieces of hardware in gaming history, outselling both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, and now they're looking to push that even further for the Switch 2. I mean, there are real cost increases across the board right now, yet not a single outlet mentioned it. Scarcity, material costs, chip shortages, all these things factor in. What they are conveniently forgetting is that when the original Switch launched, there was no competition in the handheld gaming space. Now, you have the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Legion Go, and many more. Demand for handheld components has skyrocketed, and with it, the cost of manufacturing. That pressure didn't exist back in 2017. How did nobody see this? But even
honestly, I didn't even know they made those, bro. I need to get me. I was telling this to my homies. I was like, I really wish Xbox or PlayStation would like make another handheld version, because I feel like now, seeing as the Switch was super successful, I think it would sell well. I didn't even know all those handhelds existed. I gotta look those up, see if I can get me one. Honestly, though, the only reason why I say that is because I miss my PSP, and I really wish they would make another PSP. Because that shit was gas. Especially God of War, bro. That was my shit. I played God of War. I played the 2K shit on there, bro. That honestly, the PSP was the fucking shit, bro. Oh, and Fight Night. Fight Night was the shit too, bro. That was my shit. Yeah, I really want Sony to make another PSP, because I feel like back then when I had it, it was just too early. You know what I mean? Like, people didn't appreciate it. You know, we had like, people were like, oh, why would I get a PSP when you got the fucking Nintendo DS, you know, and shit like that. But the PSP was rocking, bro. I need that again. I miss it. What game is this? Marvel Cosmic Invasion? All right, call me a non-gamer. I've never seen this game. This actually looks really fun.
Even then, I don't even think the increase in price is due to material costs. I think it's motivated by greed and profits that they failed to capture. The Switch's outdated hardware meant that they missed out on some of the biggest releases over the past few years. Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring, Black Myth Wukong, Marvel Rivals, Monster Hunter World, and Monster Hunter Wilds. The list goes on. While Nintendo's exclusives sell incredibly well, it still stings when you're not taking that 30% cut from some of the biggest third-party launches year over year. Additionally, I think that these price hikes are a form of insurance. I think that they also don't want a lot of these AAA games, because the AAA industry has been in free fall over the past couple of years. We've seen way too many games fail and studios outright embarrass themselves. Nintendo doesn't want those games. They don't even want them on their console. This isn't speculation. We've already heard reports that Nintendo is withholding Switch 2 dev kits from so-called chaotic publishers and studios. So what do you do if you're Nintendo? How do you overcome this issue? You squeeze harder on the existing loyal, price-resilient player base that you've cultivated. Nintendo isn't up to gamble. They're protecting their hardware and their margins. They want consistency, not volatility. And if that means charging more for the games that they make, that's exactly what they're going to do. I don't like that Nintendo, a company that fails to innovate, that repackages the same games over and over again, that profits more than anyone else, is now trying to justify a $80 price tag for digital games. This isn't about inflation. This isn't about value. It's about greed, plain and simple. Calculated, deliberate, opportunistic greed. And the only reason they're doing this is because they know they can get away with it. This is the same company that has mastered the art art of selling you the same thing twice, sometimes 3 times in some cases.
True.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, well, that's a Wii U game from 2014, still $60 a decade later. New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, well, you know it's new because we put new in the title. How would you know otherwise? We would hate for you to find out that game came out 13 years ago. Can't wait for everybody to go and buy Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Enhanced. Their entire business is built around nostalgia farming and resale loops, and now they want to charge you just for the privilege. Some of the biggest games on the Switch were Nintendo games, and that's exactly what you want to see. You want your exclusives to do well. That's what brings people to your console in the first place, and you also get to capture all of that revenue that's made. But at the same time, you're going to start to feel the burn from the rest of the industry being on fire, and from you missing out on some of the most explosive launches that we've seen in recent years with a lot of the games that we've seen come out even just in the last 2 years, to be honest with you. And you need more than your exclusives to remain successful. And Nintendo knows that. There's money that they've been missing out on, and they want that money. So they're looking around the industry and saying, well, your games aren't selling well. I guess we'll just increase the price of ours to be able to make up for it. That's exactly what they're going to do. The thing,
Yeah, I will say though, I agree 100% for sure that that they need to there needs to be an actual justification of raising those prices. As far as like gameplay wise, like them adding new shit or like trying new shit or actually making new exclusive titles rather than just constantly redoing the same franchises that they've been doing for the past fucking 20-30 years, bro. But the reason why they're the one gaming company to do that is because their games are so, like, they're such cult classics, and Nintendo is such a very, like, world famous, like, don't get me wrong, PlayStation and Xbox is too, but Nintendo is, like, generational. And so is PlayStation, but I mean, like, Nintendo is way more generational than PlayStation and Xbox, just hands down, bro. And I feel like they know they can do shit like this because it's risky, yes, but there's so many fans, bro. And there's so many their fan base is so large and so wide. The fans will always justify a higher price because of, maybe not always, because there will definitely be a point where people will be like, oh, you know what? No, this is crazy. But I feel like even in this case, the heavy Nintendo fans are always going to justify Nintendo doing this because they make quality games. Because they do. Don't get me wrong. They really do. But Legendary Drops over here makes a good point where it's like they've mastered the art of just reselling you the same shit once, twice, even 3 times. Because, I mean, yeah, realistically, like, outside of, like, Mario or Pokemon or, like, what else? I don't want to say Donkey Kong. Really, just outside of Mario and, what did I say? Outside of Mario and, what the hell did I just say, guys? Guys, you guys gotta keep up with me. I lose my train of thought. But either way, outside of Mario and also Legend of Zelda and Pokemon, like, there's really no other games that people buy the Switch for. I'm gonna be honest, you know, and they just really, where was I going with this? I always lose my train of thought. This is why I suck at doing this. But like, outside of those 3 games, they just, like, nobody else buys the console for nothing else. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just feel like the fans, bro, they will always justify this shit because all 3 of those franchises have such cult classic fan bases. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how much they upcharge. They're still gonna buy it, and we're gonna see that even through all of this shit with the way the world economy is, and how much more expensive things that things just are naturally. You're still going to be surprised at seeing how many people really do get a Switch and really do pay these prices for these games. Now, the physical thing, I don't think people will buy the physical copies as much anymore because, like I said, it's just, at this point, there's literally no point in owning a physical copy of a Nintendo game with the Switch 2 if it doesn't even have the fucking game on it, and you're still going to need to get the digital version and constantly have an internet connection to play it. It defeats the purpose of a physical copy. So you probably will see a lot of drops in sales with physical copies at least. But the digital copies being at $80, especially with games already being rumored to start being at that price naturally, standard, you're still gonna, people are still gonna buy the shit, you know? And yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy that we've gotten to this point, especially with Nintendo, bro. But again, I can't be that surprised. They are naturally very greedy. They're a very greedy company.
Thing is, they can get away with it. I can sit here and talk shit knock something over. I can sit here and talk shit all I want, but it doesn't really matter because these Nintendo fans are going to buy these games. They're already defending the prices. But guys, games should be like $150 bajillion if you adjust for inflation. I mean, if you think about it, we've been lucky to only spend $70. It's actually pretty generous now that you think about it. Oh, Lord. Hi-ho, silver, pole riders away. Corporate sycophants. You guys disgust me. This doesn't just affect you. It affects everybody else. Do what you want in your ecosystem, but leave me and mine alone. Sadly enough, that's not how this works in this situation. But I also get it at the same time because I understand how Nintendo has built that kind of audience in the first place, because Nintendo, unlike a lot of other publishers, doesn't really care about what the games look like, to a fault in some cases, but they care about how the game plays. Is the game fun? And because of that, they buy themselves a lot of loyalty from their fan base. Loyalty that's been lost across this entire industry. I've talked about it not even know how many videos right now, but come on, man. It's the biggest issue that we've seen. A lot of these companies are not paying attention to how fun their games are, and because of that, they're losing the people that would be playing their games. Instead, they're letting their developers make platforms for modern politics than fun video games. This is the end result of that.
Yeah, like I said too, it's that, and it's also because of the fact that their audience is it's multi-generational. And like I said, PlayStation and Xbox is the same thing, but Nintendo has been around since like the fucking 80s, bro. Like, so what is that, like about 30-40 years of them being around, right? And they're like, and I feel like people forget, like, it's not just children who buy the Switch and like play these games. Like, they do, but it's also like, you'd be surprised how many like older like people who are in like, their 30s and 40s, some even in their 50s, that they also play this shit, because it's Mario or it's fucking, or Donkey Kong or Zelda or Pokemon, whatever. But it's these it's these worldwide famous franchises that are known across many different generations. It's a lot of people who play this. I don't know a lot of 40-year-olds that sit here and play PlayStation all the time. I really don't. But I can promise you, your auntie or maybe even your grandma and your grandpappy, they might be down with playing some Nintendo games, even on the Switch, because they're pretty user friendly, even though yeah, the controls are a little different. I mean, when you put the Joy-Con sideways, they do kind of remind you of the old NES controllers. Not entirely. Don't fucking shoot me, guys. I understand there's a huge difference between the controllers. I'm just saying, it's also not their their consoles don't have such a crazy barrier to entry as far as understanding how to actually control the game itself, like a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller or, God, dude, a fucking mouse and keyboard, So it's that too. It's just their audience is so wide that, yeah, it's their audience is always going to be so forgiving with this. It's not going to last forever, but I think this is that like big gamble for Nintendo where it's like, all right, we're going to see if we can really price it at 80, and then from there, we don't know. I highly doubt once they get to the point where games are going to be $120, $130 standard, I don't think people are going to be okay with that. But you never know. People will surprise you.
I'm not stupid. I know people are going to buy these games. I've seen people already start to call for a boycott. Oh, we can't buy this. Guys, you are not going to unify the gaming audience against Nintendo. It's just not going to happen. We're talking about a group of players that, one, spends against their best interests. I mean, we're talking about people that buy microtransactions, spend money on gacha games, and buy yearly Call of Duties, even though the game pisses them off every single time. I'm one of them, by the way.
I was about to say. Relax a little bit, dog. Come on. We're shitting on Nintendo right now. We don't gotta shit on Call of Duty right now. No, I'm just playing.
We're also talking about a group of people that aren't even in on the conversation to begin with. The people that are watching videos like this are a fraction of the audience. They're just not going to hear any of this stuff. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen naturally because people just genuinely can't afford it. Which brings me to the idea that I don't think anybody else in this industry, outside of maybe a couple of outliers, are going to be able to get away with this pricing. There are way too many people that are downplaying how serious of an issue these price increases are. And Nintendo is one of the only companies that can afford to do this. They have been training their customers to be good little soldiers for years now. Go and look at their store. They have a content-starved audience that has missed out on some of the biggest third-party releases, and the vast majority of their first-party titles, Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Smash Ultimate, never drop in price because they don't have to. They have conditioned their fan base to just accept it. But not every company has that kind of brand power or that customer loyalty. And when the rest of the industry tries to follow suit, the repercussions are going to be catastrophic. But for whatever reason, people on the internet just don't want to see the light of day when it comes to the reality of what these price increases are going to do to the market. I can't even tell you guys how many developers, analysts, journalists, and yes, even players have been talking down to customers, minimizing the impact of the price increase while pointing out inflation. All the while, these are the same people that have been talking about layoffs, job scarcity, job security, rising immigration, tariffs, and trade increasing prices, not realizing that's exactly why people are complaining about the price in the first place. Nobody gives a shit about inflation. They don't care about how much $80 was 20 years ago. They are worried about how far their paycheck will go today. And right now, their paychecks aren't going very far. I am so sick of this conversation. We are watching millions of people around the world losing buying power by the day, and their best response for the industry and the rest of these sycophants is to tell people to shut up and pay more. No wonder people are becoming more radicalized by the day when it feels like you're yelling at a wall. My God, you guys should see some of the mind-numbing comments I have been subjected to by pseudo-intellectuals on Twitter. LD, you should use this as an opportunity to educate your audience on economic policy.
Dude, you should use this as a teaching moment to show gamers how the world actually works while they're jacking off and playing gotcha. Shit changes. Your government slowly creates systems to take advantage of you and your earnings, and sometimes companies have to make moves to I don't know. I can only imagine where that goes to. Please vehemently non-political YouTuber. Please be political. Yeah, I'm good, cuh. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm good, cuh. That's funny. Yeah, that's such a very interesting opinion to have for sure too. Yeah, it's like I don't know why you want the very well-known gaming YouTuber who only talks about video games to teach his fucking audience about the government and finances. Like it's it's kind of dumb. Which is why I don't know. I feel like people are weird. I feel like people nowadays they look too much. They look up too much to online like internet celebrities or like YouTubers or influencers for like political opinions or political takes, when it's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, these are not the people you should want to get. You should want to learn about how the world works, or learn about how, you know, or derive your opinion from. Just, you know, I don't know. It's just weird. Anyways.
Nobody cares about facts. Shouldn't facts inform opinions and views? No, nobody cares. How has point of sale become an esoteric concept? People staring at data sheets and inflation calculators rather than thinking about the way a customer feels when they walk up to a cash register or they hover over the purchase button while thinking about how much that $80 is in groceries or gas. Anyone who works in...
Or how they feel. And I'm sorry I keep pausing this. I know. I understand. People get frustrated when I pause a lot. But listen, I don't care. I don't care. But that's the other thing too. I feel like companies also, they sleep on exactly what he said, the feeling too. Like, you have to be able to let your customers feel like what they just bought is a good thing. Because I don't care who you are. When you spend $70 on anything, if you think about it, you think you want it, and then you get it, you spend it, and then you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have spent it. And then you watch it, and then you open your banking app, and you watch that minus 70 hit your account, and you're like, fuck. You can think of all the things that $70 could have gone to, you know? And like, you have to be able to have a game that makes you feel like, all right, I was okay with spending this $70. I think this is gonna be fun. But I feel like a lot of game companies don't keep that in mind. They're just like, hey, bro, exactly what he said. They just look at graphs and data sheets and are like, well, based on how things were 20 years ago and how they math up now, well, here you go, boom, justified price. It's like, it's not necessarily how it works. I mean, it is, but, you know, I get where the math comes from, but there's still a human aspect to what you're selling us. You know, we're still humans. We're not just fucking numbers. So I'm sorry, I will try not to pot this often anymore.
Sales knows this simple truth. The second a customer starts to think too much, they are gone. Games are no longer an impulse buy at $80. They are a maybe later that suddenly turns into a desire that cools off. They then forget. And then even if they do come back, that cycle is likely to start over again. What none of these people, and especially these publishers, are thinking about right now is raising prices introduces friction. That friction is deadly in a marketplace, overflowing with choice. It's going to be the difference between I'll buy it now or I'll wait for a sale. And that could be the difference between a smash hit or a forgotten launch. Especially when that game is $80 and it's competing with dozens of other titles that are all fighting for the same slice of your paycheck. And while I've seen people try to defend the price bump with it's only $10 more, it's cheaper than a meal at McDonald's, those are painfully short-sighted takes. I know this is a crazy concept, but not everybody is from middle-class America. Not everybody lives in a stable economy with extra cash to burn. Not everybody can afford to treat every new release like it's a throwaway weekend purchase. In Canada, these games are already over $110. In Australia, they're over $120. And when you start looking at other countries like Brazil, then things get even more absurd. An $80 game there translates to $440. The average income there is like $3,200 a month. So one game is 13% of one person's entire monthly earnings. For somebody that's on minimum wage, it's closer to 31%. That's 1/3 of somebody's income for a single video game. And while many of these platforms do offer regional pricing, many of these companies, these publishers and studios, don't ever take advantage of it, especially not for physical games where manufacturers and retailers can just control the markup. So for players in these low-income countries, video games are quickly becoming a luxury product, something that you have to save up for, like a new phone, not something that you're going to buy casually. Millions of players around the world are being priced out of the hobby entirely, unless they're willing to become goldfish for whales in a free-to-play casino, nickel and dimed inside of mobile games that exploit their time, their data, or their desperation. Otherwise, these guys are just going to turn to piracy if they haven't already. Now, I mentioned this in a video last year, but most people don't pirate just for the hell of it. They pirate because it's the most convenient and affordable option that's left to them. If games are reasonably priced, regionally adjusted, and easy to access, most people are going to be happy to support it. But the minute that you make it unaffordable, inconvenient, or inaccessible, people are going to find another way. They always do. Gaming is a passionate hobby. People care. They are invested. They love these games. And if publishers keep pricing them out, the message becomes clear. You're not welcome here unless you pay top dollar. And when you push people hard enough, far enough, they're going to push back. They'll jailbreak, they'll torrent, they'll emulate, they'll do anything they can to play the games they love. And the irony is, these companies are going to spend millions of dollars fighting piracy while ignoring the real cause, alienating their own audience. Now, I've taken a lot of time to think about.
And look. Call me a monster. Call me a fucking demon for this opinion. I don't think emulation should be illegal. I don't think emulating a game that, one, is not supported anymore, and two, it is not purchasable anymore. I don't think if you emulate that game, you should get in trouble for it. I think it should be allowed. Because, I mean, because if you're not going to support a game or even sell the game anymore, but it does exist, it has its code, and people do want to buy it, but maybe you just don't sell it anymore because it's just completely outdated, or maybe it's not as popular as some of your other games, so you just decide you don't want to sell it. I think you should be allowed to emulate those games and then put them up for, maybe not for sale. Like the person who emulates it can't just sell the shit and like get money off it, because it is still the intellectual property of the original people who made the game. But they should at least be able to emulate it, bring it back to life, and then just put it on the internet to let other people enjoy for free. You know what I mean? That's just my take on emulation
about this, but I think the biggest consequence of these price increases is going to be how much it's going to polarize the difference between success and failure. Think about it. If you're asking $80 for a game, you are creating sky-high expectations. You are saying that this game is premium. It is worth it. And if that game's trailers, reviews, experience, or reception do not deliver, the backlash and failure is going to be all the more brutal. This is going to completely fold the AAA industry, especially if these studios and publishers are not taking the time to think about the consequences of increasing prices on some of these low-effort AAA releases that we've seen over the past couple of years. These publishers love to talk about recouping investments, but what they don't realize is raising prices creates psychological resistance. At $60, people might gamble. At $80, they expect a masterpiece. And most of these games aren't delivering that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Dragon Age: The Veilguard. It missed its sales target by half, just 1.5 million players, and that's at the current price point of $70. How much worse is that going to be at $80? What about Star Wars Outlaws, Redfall, Forspoken, Assassin's Creed Shadows? Even good games like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, well-received, polished, high-quality games, still underperformed. Imagine how much worse that gets when that price tag climbs even higher. Fewer impulse buys, more hesitation, fewer people willing to take a risk on something, and a lot of other people just priced out of it entirely. And it's not just the brand new AAA releases. I think a lot of people don't realize that this kind of price inflation will trickle down. Games that used to be 30 will get bumped up to 40, 40 becomes 50, 50 becomes 60, and before you know it, everything is overpriced, and every release is going to carry that much more risk. When games cost more, customers buy fewer, and when there's fewer customers that are buying, every failed launch is going to hurt even more. Look, I think a great game can still sell well at $80, but those are going to be rare. How many successful releases have we actually seen in AAA? 4 or maybe 5 out of a dozen releases every year? Most publishers aren't From Software or CD Projekt Red. They're not Larian Studios. The average AAA game is just not good enough to demand that kind of price tag. Not even close. And I'm hoping that these publishers are taking the time to realize that if a player drops $80 on a hit like Elden Ring, they're going to be a lot less likely to buy your mediocre action RPG 2 weeks later. Their budget's gone, their time is gone, you missed your shot. We literally just saw this happen with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Avowed. Ultimately, the number of games that people buy each year is going to shrink. The higher the price, the more selective people are going to become. That's not theory, that's economics. Disposable income only stretches so far, and with more games releasing every single year, year over year, that's going to be a death sentence for anything that isn't exceptional. You're not just raising prices, you're raising expectations and risk, and most games, especially most AAA games, are not going to be able to meet the numbers that they need. But I don't want to be all doom and gloom.
See, that's why I have an appreciation for video games nowadays that are just fully free. You know what I mean? Because at least with those games, at least one, the company's still gonna get a money stream to go to them where they can still be able to fund the company and then also be able to support the game and maybe take on ventures into creating a new game. But then two, it completely negates the barrier to entry that is like an overpriced game that's at $80-$90, because it's for free. And then the only thing that you're really paying for is maybe you want a different skin here, or maybe you want to, like cosmetic stuff, because people, especially gamers will buy, and I feel like gamers are pretty okay with microtransactions as long as, one, they look good, and then two, the game itself is good as well. And what really helps is if the game is free, because I'll tell you what, I like Call of Duty, all right? I do. As much as I hate it, fucking hate it sometimes, I really do enjoy the game. I've been a Call of Duty kid since I was a kid. But especially with Black Ops 6, there's no fucking way you're going to convince me that I should buy. I was close, though. I will say that I was close because of the fucking Ninja Turtle skins. They got me almost very close, but I didn't buy them. But it is very hard to convince me after paying $70 for this fucking game that I should now pay another $30 to be a fucking turtle in your game, right? I would feel more comfortable with spending that $30 to become a turtle or maybe get this cool camo if the barrier to entry to Black Ops 6 wasn't $70, it was free. You know what I mean? And I know they tried doing that with putting it on Game Pass, where as long as you have a Game Pass subscription, which you can pay like the $10 a month version, you can just play Black Ops 6 for free. But then that requires you to keep on holding your subscription. So I mean, then you kind of just have to weigh, okay, I mean, if I play this game for the next year or 2 years, that's 24 months. I can either just pay the $70 and just own the game itself, or pay $10 a month, which after a year is going to be $120 for the game, and then in 2 years it's $240. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's still kind of fucked, but at least they tried something like that. But yeah, I appreciate games that are free because they don't restrict who can play them, and you're still able to support the developers themselves because you can just buy cosmetics or whatever, you know. So I have an appreciation for free games. That's why I really enjoy Rivals. It's the perfect example of what I just said, because it's completely free. You don't have to buy anything in the game. You're still able to play the full game. It's a fantastic game. It runs great, and it's got a really cool drip that you can pay for, and it's still pretty affordable. Some are $10, some are $20, but I haven't seen something that's like, well, I think there are a couple of bundles I think that get close to that $30 mark, but nothing over, you know. Whereas I think Valorant definitely kind of fucks this whole structure up, because, dude, I like Valorant, but when I saw they had gun packs that were $90, and like I just said, it's not, I'm talking about, like, you're not getting new guns, you're just getting more camos. You're getting a bundle of camos for a bunch of different guns for $90 fucking dollars, bro. Valorant fucks it. I've hated Valorant ever since for that, because that's fucking crazy, bro. And that's not the only bundle. They've had a couple bundles that are like $70. It's crazy. But again, Valorant's free, so it's like, I can't be too mad. But they're definitely milking that structure of, hey guys, well, it's free, so come on, you know.
Gloom, because I do think that there's going to be a silver lining in all of this, a glimmer of hope, if you will, because there are smart studios that are out there, indies, mid-sized independents, and AA disruptors, and these guys are going to capitalize on this shift, because while AAA publishers are going to panic and uniformly fall in line before the $80 price point, these independents won't. They can't afford to, and they don't need to. Instead, what we're going to see is something that this industry desperately needs, a return to competitive pricing based on value, not marketing budgets, not investor pressure, not a one-size-fits-all price tag that treats every game like it's delivering the exact same experience, just developers looking at their game and saying, what is this actually worth? I've already sunk 40 hours into Schedule 1. That game cost me $20. Repo is topping the Steam charts right now, and it's $10. This month, Expedition 33 is going to launch. That has AAA fanfare, it has cool the visuals, the big-name voice actors, and they're selling it for 10% off at pre-sale, $44.99. I mean, if you think about it, the three biggest AAA releases that we've seen over the past few years, Black Myth, Wukong, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, they all shipped at $60 on Steam. These aren't just cheap games, they're smart games, well-priced, well-scoped, and undercutting the entire field. They're winning not just because they're good, but because they're fair. And in a world where the price of gaming is starting to feel more and more exploitative, fairness is going to be a competitive edge. The industry is shifting, and is shifting fast. Players are more informed, more cautious, and more willing to support studios that respect their time and their wallets. Great pricing is no longer about affordability, it's about trust. That trust is becoming a kind of currency. So while AAA publishers are going to push for higher prices to cover their bloated budgets and failing bets, the smaller studios are going to be building loyalty by offering us more for less. Not because they have to, but because they know how it works. And over time, I think we're going to start to see more developers, big and small, price their games not based on industry trends, but based on experience. Not every game is worth $80. Some are worth $40, some are worth $20, and some are worth far more than what they actually charge. I think we're entering into a new era, an era in which the price is no longer dictated by the platform holders or the publishing giants, but by the developers willing to back their product with a number that actually makes sense. The future of gaming pricing isn't about who makes the best game. It's about who dares to price it honestly.
True.
I look at a game like Expedition 33, and I see how they're using an introductory price. Basically, if you're buying the game before its launch or within the first week of its launch, you get 10% off or something like that. And I think that's the future.
Okay,
They are a
that's
studio
pretty
that
cool.
have put a lot of effort and a lot of time, a lot of money. They get big-time voice actors and stuff like that in their game. This is their first game. They recognize that they are unproven, that people don't know them, and they have to do something to separate themselves from the herd.
I will say that is definitely that's very unique. I've never heard of a company doing that. That is super consumer friendly because it is. That's actually wild that I've never heard another company doing that. Which I mean, it makes sense. Not companies are notoriously never consumer friendly, but I mean that makes to me that kind of makes logical sense to do things like that, or at least encourage a pricing things like that because it's like, hey, if you're willing to take the risk of not even knowing if this game is good or not, you're not going to wait to see how other people react to it before you want to buy it. You're like, based on just videos, you're like, I'm buying this shit. I'm going to buy it early. Hey, we'll help you out. We'll cut you 10% off. We'll cut you the price down a little bit because you fuck with us so much. You think this shit's going to be cool. You fuck with us like that. You're willing to buy it early. All right. We'll help you out too. That's actually really cool. I think more companies should definitely do that. Like it doesn't have to be like a major discount, but even just a little 10% discount. That's not bad. I'm surprised more companies don't do that.
Buys a lot of goodwill. Extending that olive branch buys a lot of goodwill from the fans. And look, I'm talking about them in a video right now. That's free promotion that they got just because of a decision that they made that the players view as fair.
Too, even
People talk
on a
about
small
those things.
channel. Shit.
That becomes a word of mouth marketing for you. And I think a lot of the industry has lost sight of that. You have to maintain that relationship and understand that relationship with the customer because this isn't like any other type of entertainment industry. This isn't like any other type of product industry. There's a intimate relationship between the players and the developers and these games that just doesn't really exist anywhere else. And while not everybody is in on these conversations, a very loud and very influential part of that fan base, of these customer bases, they are in on these conversations. And you have to pay attention to that. You have to be mindful of that. We're going to see a lot of games fail that should have succeeded. And we're going to see games that fail really bad. To the point they close down studios, which we've already seen, which tells me it's going to be even worse than it's ever been before. Studios that normally wouldn't have gotten shut down are going to get shut down, specifically because these companies will just genuinely not be able to afford it. I do not think that these publishers are going to take the time to think about what a price increase will look like on underperforming titles. I think that they're going to be completely fixated on what it's going to look like for well-performing titles or decently performing titles, not realizing that a price increase is likely going to pull more units out of the shelves than, or it's going to leave more units on the shelves than pull them off of the shelves. People just aren't going to, you cannot think that you're going to sell the same amount of units by increasing the price. It's just not going to happen. And keep in mind, the vast majority of releases that we see over the years we see more Avoweds than we do Kingdom Comes. We see more Dragon Age of the Veilguards than we do Baldur's Gate 3s. So what do you think the effect is going to be? People are just not going to buy those games. Especially if like 2 games is going to be like $200. That's almost a half a console. You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I would say I've definitely stopped by. I used to be a kid, bro, that I would, and mind you, like, regardless of how much money I make now, because I used to make way more money back when I was like 18 years old, but I still make a good amount of money where I should be able to buy a couple games, and I buy way less games now than I did back then, and like I said, it could be because maybe I just have more money to spend, but I also feel like it's because back then when I was like 17, 18 years old, well, 1, I had more time to play games, and then 2, I was buying a lot of games off of whim. Like, bro, if I can plug in my Xbox, because I have a PS5 now, but before I got this PS5 and before I had this computer, I was an Xbox kid. I had an Xbox One from when it released in 2013. I had the Assassin's Creed Unity bundle that came with the Xbox. I had that all the way up until a few years ago when I got this PS5. And, bro, I have over 200 and some change of games on there. And a lot of the games, bro, I haven't even finished, they were just really good games. I was just impulse buying shit because they looked fun, or I had friends that were like, yo, buy this. It's dope. Like, bro, I have the Crisis trilogy. Now, you guys might crucify me. I haven't finished the Crisis series, and I'm low-key mad that I haven't because it's a really fun fucking game. I played the first one, and I think I played a little bit of the third one. But I haven't finished them. But I bought them. I bought the whole shit, the whole trilogy on a whim, and I haven't completed the series yet. I don't know if I ever will. I kind of want to. But it's like shit like that, bro. There's so many, like, Little Nightmares. I love that game too. I bought that shit off a whim. Like, I bought so many games, and then don't get me started when I was consistent. I was consistent Game Pass Ultimate subscriber for like 2-3 years. Never missed a fucking month. because there were just so many games that were just worth it back then. And then it made even the games that I had no idea about or weren't even as big as the AAA titles, I guess you call them double A or indie or whatever, like Hollow Knight, whatever. Because mind you, this was like Hollow Knight back then. They were still really, really good games. It made impulse buying worth it. And nowadays, dude, I am very cautious of games I buy before I buy them. Like, I really have to know these games before I buy them. And I feel like that's a sentiment that a lot of people in the gaming community are kind of going through as well. And that kind of sucks, dude, because I miss the times where I would just see a cool cover art and be like, I'm buying the shit. You know, I miss those days of just being like, hey, bro, fuck it. Hey, oh, my homie said that fucking shit. What's the game that I bought back then? Oh, dude, like fucking Ace Combat or some shit. Like just odd games that I just would never play. Oh, my homie got it. He said it's cool. Oh, that shit's like $40-$50. I don't care. I'm gonna buy it anyways. Like, I miss those days, bro. I really do. But yeah.
I knew a price increase was coming, but I didn't think that they would do it at a time that I believe player trust within this industry is at its lowest it's ever been. Player satisfaction is at the lowest it's ever been. These players are sick and tired of the bloated games, the over monetization. They're sick of the slop that's being fed to them at high prices. They don't want to have anything to do with it. What do they think the end result of this is going to be? Do they actually think that the game that sold for 10 million units is going to now make $800 million? Because what I think is going to happen is the game that sold for 10 million units is now going to sell 8 million units, and now you're going to make $640 million. Best case scenario for them is that these games end up breaking even. That's the best thing that can happen to these guys. I don't think they understand that there's too many options in this market for people not to just go somewhere else. There's too many other games for us to play. There's going to be people that are going to be taking advantage of this situation. They've probably been waiting for these idiots to go and raise their prices because they know they can come in, undercut them, and make a stealing. Look at this one guy, Tyler, makes Schedule 1.
Yeah.
Dude's an overnight millionaire. Obviously, there's like a legal case that's going on with that, but I think they'll win, to be honest with you. It's based on something so stupid. There's definitely no infringement of patents or anything like that. Sorry, man, you don't have a license on that.
Yeah, they're talking about the other drug sim game that's trying. But I thought they came out and said that they weren't doing any lawsuit. But I guess it could be, that could just be to cover them, because when people found out that, what was it? It was like Drug Simulator or Drug Deal Simulator. I don't remember the name of the game, but it was a game that was, it doesn't even look anything like fucking, like Schedule 1. If you actually look up the game, it looks more to like Far Cry or like Dead Island or something, like the way it looks. But anyways, it's supposed to be another game that's about selling, you know what I mean? And yeah, I guess it's alleged that they're trying to sue the developer of Schedule 1 because of copyright infringement or whatever. But I thought they came out and said that they weren't doing that. So I don't know. But like I said, that also could just be a cover, because after people found out that they were, or at least that it was rumored that they were trying to take the Tyler, whatever his name is, the developer of Schedule 1 to court, people fucking review bombed the shit out of that drug simulator game. And oh man, those reviews went to like overwhelmingly negative, and then they came out and were like, oh, we're not doing any lawsuit, guys. So
nah, how drugs are made. It's so stupid. But players are just going to go elsewhere. They're going to pick other games. They're going to find something else to play, and they're not going to play these games. They're not going to pay these prices. We already know they're not going to pay these prices. Otherwise, if they were, well, then Star Wars Outlaws would have succeeded. Well, then Concord would have stayed alive. Well, then Dragon Age the Veilguard would have met sales expectations. But these games didn't. Players aren't putting up with this kind of thing anymore. And the minute that you increase the price, you'll never see them again.
Well, I will say Concord, Star Wars, and like Veilguard, those didn't really fail because of increased price. Because like Concord is like $40. Like, that's not really increased price. Now you could argue, like, should Concord even have been worth anything, considering that its only competitor at the time, because this was before Rivals came out. You could argue like the only competitor was really Overwatch, and Overwatch 2 was free. So it's like, I mean, like, why would you even put a price on your game where your biggest competitor gives the players something that's already familiar, and probably something that was arguably better because it had more time to be polished and ironed out. They give that to the customers for completely free, and yet you want us to give you $40 to play some shit that is brand new and is probably worse than what's already out there. So I mean, like I said, I don't think Concord and like Star Wars and Veilguard failed because of price necessarily. I think it's more of just because low key all three of those games just weren't good, like by any means at all. I haven't played any of the three. I've only ever seen videos of them on YouTube, but they look very boring. I think I did try to play Veilguard for like 30 minutes, and then I just didn't have too much fun. It was just I did not like the combat in the game. I did not like how the UI looked. It looked like a mobile game low key to me, and it's just yeah. But I think those games kind of failed because of just being shit games. Which again, for all three of those games to be AAA titles, it's horrible, and it's sad that at this point AAA titles are not as polished as they once used to be. It's so stupid. You have the name AAA for a reason. You know what I mean? Or at least the rating AAA for a reason. For them to not be for them to not be good at it, it's just crazy. For them to not be good at launch is crazy.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, join the Discord if you will. Come talk to me on Twitter. I would like to have some more I-minded individuals to talk to over there. Outside of that, my friends, catch me live over on Twitch. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Peace. Yeah, that was a pretty good video. Like I said, dude, I just miss the days of being able to impulse buy video games and for the most part actually being satisfied in those purchases, because it still felt like I was, getting my money's worth. And it's just sad to see the way games are going, dude, especially with Nintendo, because like I said, I understand and I know Nintendo's always been notoriously greedy with how they want to monetize literally fucking anything they do. But it's just sad that it's gotten to this point too, and it's just I'm still I know we're like an hour in. I'm still completely blindsided at the fact that you're gonna buy a physical cartridge for the game to not even be in the cartridge. You just essentially have a key for a digital copy, and you pay $10 more for it for basically just plastic. Like, we're just to the point where it's like, I feel like these game companies, they don't even see us as people anymore. They don't even see us as customers anymore. They just see us as wallets and numbers. And I feel like once you get your customers to feel like you don't look at them as people anymore, you don't have that connection to them as people anymore, you just look at them as numbers or like a means to an end or whatever. It doesn't even feel okay. It doesn't even feel okay to even want to engage in any of your products anymore. Like, it's just, man, I really do miss the days of old games, bro. And it's such like an old head take to have, low key, but like, it's just, games back then were just so much better. It felt like, even though we didn't have live service like that, we didn't have like too much crazy shit, it just felt like at least whoever made the game understood what fun was and tried to do it for as not as cheap as possible, because games even back then weren't cheap, but at least they were like, hey, if you're gonna pay the $50 or $60 for this video game, it's gonna be worth it. You didn't even have to know what the game was about or know who really made or developed the game to trust that it was gonna be a good game. You saw $50, you knew it was fire. Now that's not the same thing. Now you have to do damn near college essay type of research before you buy a video game to really make sure that it's going to be a game that's worth it. And I hate doing that. It's so stupid. But hey, man, I like this video. I thought it was great. If you like this kind of content, consider leaving me a like, comment, and subscribe. I will always put the I'm gonna put the original video here in the description below. So make sure y'all click the description, click the original video, come back over here and show Legendary drop some love. I've been Little Mackie Rov, and I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace out.